Hey guys, quick episode here with some breaking news. Our friend Valerie Encina at Breaking Defense has written the following. Headline is Trump administration to redirect $2.8 billion in shipbuilding and weapons development funds for troop pay. Valerie writes the following. The Trump administration intends to use about $5.3 billion in Defense Department spending to cover troops' pay and housing allowance during the government shutdown, with $2.8 billion of that sum being redirected from Navy shipbuilding accounts and department-wide research and development programs to help stem the government shutdown's impact on the military's rank and file. A Defense Department spokesman who directed further questions about the funding to the Office of Management and Budget said, quote, President Trump is continuing to make good on his promise to take care of the troops, despite the fact Democrats have shut down the government and are fine with our bravest men and women getting no pay, end quote. Valerie goes on to write, Congress has been closely watching how the Defense Department implements the $150 billion in defense funds included in the One Big Beautiful Bill, $113 billion of which is slated to be used in fiscal year 2026. Now, Valerie goes into the weeds a little bit here in the next paragraph about how this budget is divided. She writes, the Pentagon is working through its implementation of the One Big Beautiful Bill over several installments, with the first batch of requests approved by OMB and sent to Capitol Hill this month. The department has submitted requests to OMB that include $108 billion of the reconciliation funding, and OMB has approved and apportioned $89.3 billion so far, with $77 billion of that aligned to fiscal year 26. Now, Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Roger Wicker, who's a Republican from Mississippi, who is a huge backer of the Navy shipbuilding plan, has been adamant that the Pentagon used the funding from the reconciliation funding in accordance with Congress's guidance. So remember, the funding that was first submitted in the National Defense Authorization Act and then approved by Congress as the defense budget for any given fiscal year is earmarked for certain accounts. So you have research and development and test and evaluation, you have procurement, which includes ship construction, and you have operations and maintenance that includes paying the troops. So those things are law. And we've seen since the shutdown began, Congress likes to remind the White House that they have the power of the purse. However, as Valerie writes, budget experts have cautioned that the Pentagon has some degree of funding flexibility in cases where the money is not explicitly tied to a particular program in the legislation. So what that means is things like R&D, test and evaluation, and shipbuilding accounts, if they're not tied to a specific program, can be used in other ways, in this case, to pay the troops. However, the worry here is once the shutdown ends, will those accounts that were robbed be made whole? History shows that's not always the case. And this is of some concern as this administration has promised to make shipbuilding great again. So just a quick episode here. I wanted to tee up this breaking news because as the shutdown continues, these are the sort of impacts that matter. We'll keep our eye on this situation going forward. So if you're not already a subscriber, become one so you don't miss anything. And in the meantime, I look forward to talking to you again very soon.